Warning, this video contains spoilers for Wonder Woman 1984 as well as Soul. So if you haven't seen Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max, or if you haven't seen Soul on Disney Plus, make sure to watch those movies. They're available now online on streaming. Make sure to watch those movies now before watching this video. And if you have watched those movies, make sure to watch this video. And if you don't care if the movie gets spoiled for you, watch the video anyway. Thank you. This has been a spoiler warning. Welcome back to Podzilla. It's a digital discourse in pop culture. I am your co-host on this journey through lights and magic, and my name is David.
And my name is Braden.
And today we're going to be talking about two movies that came out on streaming this past week, both on Christmas Day, correct?
Yeah, both on Christmas Day.
Both on Christmas Day. We watched both of them. We're going to talk about both of them. Like we said in the intro, there are going to be spoilers ahead. If you don't care about spoilers, then keep watching. If you watch the movie, keep watching. If you do care about spoilers and you're going to complain about a movie getting spoiled, just turn off this movie, just turn off this podcast, go watch the movies and come back and watch this, because we're going to talk about our thoughts I almost said soil. We're going to talk about our thoughts on Soul, and we're going to talk about our thoughts on WW84 or Wonder Woman 84 or Wonder Woman 1984. I think that's the official title, right?
It's too long if it is.
It's too long, but so was the movie. So, thank you for joining us on this episode. Before we get into that, Christmas came and went. Braden, what did you get for Christmas? What was like one of your favorite things?
I got the Harry Potter books, which I'm really stoked about.
That's good.
Got a good box set. They're actually like your box set, except they're hardback.
I have a lot of box sets.
Do you? The colorful ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
good.
I like those.
Those are cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they from England?
I think probably from Amazon.
Like,
from
is
England.
I know that ours we got when we were in London, and Philosopher's Stone says Philosopher's Stone, not Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah. Mine
so
do too.
That's pretty
But they're from
accurate.
Amazon, not from. I would imagine they were on my Amazon wish list, so I imagine somebody bought them off my wish list.
Who knows? Let's say they are. Let's say that Harry Potter made them himself. Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that
what about you? What was your favorite thing?
Oh man, I got one of my favorite things. The first thing that comes to mind is I got the 1989 Batman Lego Batmobile.
Ooh.
Almost 4,000 pieces.
Almost 4,000. I thought you were going to say almost $4,000. I was like,
no,
they get ripped off. It's not all right.
No, almost 4,000 pieces though, which is a lot, and it's a lot of black pieces because it's just a black.
Have you started
Batmobile.
it?
I finished it.
Heck yeah.
It's been made, and it's sitting on our dining room table as a centerpiece because I don't have a shelf for it yet because it's 2 feet long.
Oh my God, I didn't know that.
Probably 11 inches wide.
Dang, that's awesome.
So it's big.
That's awesome.
And it's got the steering wheel turns the front tires.
Yeah, like
and
axles
it's got
and everything?
Yeah,
What?
and it's got on the back you turn like where it's not an exhaust, but where that like
the
flames come out. You turn that and the machine guns shoot up out of the top of it.
Oh,
like in the movie.
dope.
And like you know how in the movie the machine guns come up and like the pieces of the Batmobile like fly off.
Yeah.
And like those little pieces fly off when you turn the.
That's awesome.
So that was cool.
That's
got
super
that.
cool.
Was not expecting that, but I got that, which was exciting. That's. I mean, I got. That was. I don't know. That was exciting.
Yeah, other things.
Exciting.
Other things. We were at Carrabba's, my wife and I, and we were just sitting there waiting on our food to come, and then the waiter comes by, asks us if we needed anything. We're like, no, we're good. And then he said, so did you guys have a good Christmas? And we were like, yeah. And he goes, what'd you get for Christmas? And I was like,
I don't like being put on the spot like this.
No. Like with you, it's different because you're a friend and I know you.
Yeah.
But for a stranger to come up to you and be like, what'd you get for Christmas?
Especially when
How honest should you be?
Especially when we're grown men and we are like toys.
Yeah. Yeah. I got this.
Kids novels.
I got this Bolt.
Yeah, you got a Bolt.
Yeah.
That's dope.
David got me this. This David. Friend
yeah,
David.
I did.
friends in real life.
If you're watching and you know what this is from, let's not even say. Yeah. If someone knows what this is from, it's a very significant. If you know what this bolt right here is from, let us know in the comments below. I'm pretty sure it's like 1-to-1 scale.
It's really big. It's not a regular bolt,
and it's not like plastic. It's not like squishy. Like it kind of looks like it'd be a dog toy, but it's not. It's like
it's not
like die cast plastic.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Replica.
Really fun.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's something.
But should I have told the waiter like, "Hey, yeah, I got a bolt."
Yeah, I got a big bolt.
I got a big
with a mind of its own. Yeah. So I got that Batmobile. I literally spent all day, or most of the day, I think Sunday, just with all the pieces on my coffee table.
I love big Lego sets, man.
Me too.
I got 2 Lego sets. They're not very big, but they're what I wanted. They're going to be a ton of fun to put together. Mm-hmm. But do you remember whenever, I think it was right before I got married, you, me, and Michael all built the big Star Destroyer from the Last Jedi?
Yeah.
And
there's some continuity errors.
Yeah, there's some continuity errors. But anyways, we spent like hours making that massive Star Destroyer. Mm-hmm. Super fun. Legos are great.
Legos are awesome. I love it.
Do you think Legos are worth the price? Because like that Star Destroyer set was $100. That Batmobile, I'm sure, is over
expensive.
$100. Yeah. Just Legos are expensive, especially like the Star Wars ones, the Batman ones, the Spider-Man ones.
I mean, yes and no. Because like sometimes when you're putting it together, you're like, it's kind of worth the price when you think about an engineer that had to figure out how to make this out of bricks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like part of it is like, I understand the price from the aspect of like someone had to figure out how to make this Batmobile function and look like a Batmobile. And not only that, I didn't tell you this, but it also, after you build a Batmobile, you build a little spinner that you set it on and it can turn.
What?
So you can like display it and turn it.
Oh my gosh. I got to get that. That sounds awesome.
It's legit.
That's
and
amazing.
It comes with a little Michael Keaton Batman, a little Joker, and a little Vicky Vale with a camera.
Ooh. See, my favorite Batmobile is the one from the 60s. Like the black one, it doesn't have a roof. It's got like the
one
red
that has
accents.
like the separate little like window things for
like
Batman.
The windshield, it's
red
got 2
siren on the back,
and the really big like flamethrower in the back. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
just because it's classic, it looks really cool.
Yeah,
and also that Batman, just like I was like raised on that cheesy Batman. Mm-hmm. So that one's my favorite. So if they ever made one like that, I would absolutely buy it.
That would be cool. What I did appreciate about the Lego Batmobile is that, I mean, obviously the outside of it is all black because it's the Tim Burton Batman. Yeah. But the inside of it, when you're kind of putting together the framework on the inside, they did like gray and blue and yellow.
So it's
like Batman color scheme.
That's
even
cool.
on the inside. So it was a blast. So that's the first. I mean, there was a lot of cool nerdy stuff and like socks and clothes. There were not a lot, but there was socks and clothes and cool stuff. But that was the first thing that came to mind. Oh, cool. So thanks, Mom, for getting me that. My mom got me that.
That's
so
awesome.
That was pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so it was exciting. I got a year membership to
Jelly of the Month
Jelly of the Month Club. No, a couple Marvel comics. So I'll get them mailed to me.
Oh, dang, that's
so that'll be cool. That was
can
my
you
wife.
pick them?
Yeah.
Really?
So I'll probably do this year, maybe Star Wars New Republic, the books, and then I'm not sure yet what the other one is. Either Captain America or Spider-Man. I'm not sure yet.
Dang. All those are pretty solid.
But they have like Fantastic Four. I mean, they have tons of different options, so it's kind of hard to choose.
That's really cool.
So I have that coming too.
Yeah, I got just a bunch of books, like regular books, Stephen King books, and not Stephen King books, all under the.
I did get
spectrum.
a Stephen King. You might have it. I don't know if you do. It's like, I think it's. I need to look up it's 3 books. It's like Carrie, The Shining,
Salem's Lot, and The Shining.
And Salem's Lot. It's like the black. book.
Yeah. But it's got all 3 of them.
Yeah,
I've read all 3 of those, and they're all pretty good.
I got that book.
Really good. So just to give you a heads up, my sister, her all-time favorite book, my younger sister, is Salem's Lot. She loved it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was fine.
Cool.
Just let me know what you think.
Yeah, I will.
Off the podcast.
Yeah,
for sure. Let me know what you think.
Yeah, but I did get that book.
That's cool.
Which is cool.
The
but
Shining is completely different. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, it is.
My sister and I, my younger sister, we kind of argue back and forth on which is better, like the book or the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think the movie is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because I came to it years before the book, but she swears by the book. But she also likes Salem's Lot. That said it was the best book she's ever read, and I was like, all right, calm down.
All right, yeah. You're being a little extra.
To each their own. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I am interested. That's cool.
Yeah, well, like we said in the intro, let's just go ahead and chat about 2 movies that came out, very highly anticipated movies for this year.
Yeah.
That both got pushed back and kind of pushed around in 2020.
Yeah.
But they both landed on Christmas Day.
For free right now. Go watch them if you pay for that subscription.
Yeah, it's not like Mulan, which I think Disney realized people aren't going to pay $25 to watch this movie, especially because Mulan was a big fat stinker.
Yeah.
But
trailer was good.
The trailer was good. Gave us chills.
That's a whole episode we should do soon is best trailers, worst movies.
Yeah, Mulan's definitely
up there.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe that's because it's nostalgia.
And it was Who Is That Girl I See, kind of intertwined in the music.
It's tasteful. It's great because I don't know if it's general knowledge, but like movie studios and like the movies, trailers are made by completely different people and teams, and like they don't have anything to do with the movie.
Yeah, there are full production studios that only do movie trailers.
Right. Like Christopher Nolan doesn't do his own trailers. Those baller trailers are done by somebody else.
Yep.
So that's worth an episode, I think. Should we do that next week?
Maybe
we'll do that next week.
Take some research.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Disney Plus, in partnership with Pixar, released Soul, which is...
Yeah. I wanted to talk about this one first.
Yeah, for sure. Which is a movie about a man who is very passionate about playing piano, especially jazz piano.
He's a jazzy boy.
He hasn't had much luck getting what he wants out of life, which is to be a touring, respected jazz musician.
Tough business.
It is a tough business, and he ends up dying. Instead of going to the afterlife, he narrowly escapes and finds himself in the before, where souls find what they're passionate about, and he tries to teach a soul.
Yeah,
it's number 22.
Yeah,
it's calling, or it's passion in life.
Yeah.
And then the other movie that came out that we're going to talk about is Wonder Woman 1984, which came out on HBO Max, was released by Warner Brothers, directed by Patty Jenkins, and
Patty.
And that we're going to talk about that movie because I have a lot to say.
I do too.
I have like a whole notes thing.
Hey,
of
me too,
just
man.
Wonder Woman.
Wow.
In chronological order. So let's start with Soul, because I don't think we're going to talk nearly as much about Soul as we are about Wonder Woman.
I thought it was fine.
It was fine.
Okay.
I don't think
I didn't know if you loved it.
No, I did not.
I did not either.
I don't think Soul was fine. It felt like it should be a streaming release all along.
That's what I thought. I think they totally lucked out.
Yeah. If it was a theater release, it wouldn't have been good. Also, the fact that it's like currently on IMDb at like an 8.5 is ridiculous. Because it doesn't belong there.
I mean, like what you want to like, but
it's not an 8.5.
No, it's not that good.
It's not that good.
It's worth watching if you have Disney Plus.
Let's start with what they did right.
Okay. The animation is beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
I noticed that they had a whole department for the sweater texture.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
I mean, Pixar's only getting better and better and better with every movie.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to watch.
Yes, absolutely.
They did a great job of representing a musician and playing, and they did a really good job in Coco as well, which was, like they're doing better at if the character's playing an instrument, they're actually playing the instrument.
Right, they're hitting the correct keys or
it's
hitting
not like
the
they're
correct
just
frets.
Strumming. It's not like Josie and the Pussycats, like cartoon
Right,
back in the day where their hands just like this and they're just doing this. Like,
Yeah, right.
it's accurate, which is really, and I think they represented, like musicianship and like the way he feels about it. That was all very beautifully portrayed and accurate.
Yeah.
I also think they beautifully portrayed Black culture and in the look, the stylization of even, you know, when he goes to the barbershop, different haircuts, different looks. Not, you know, everybody, it was accurate to culturally how Black people look. Yeah. And it was great and it was beautiful. It was really, really well done and really intentional. And I thought they did that really well. I liked the idea of the movie more so than the...
Yeah. I personally think that they bit off more than they can chew. Yeah. Like, originally, the first Pixar movie's Toy Story. Toys come to life. Right. Makes you cry in the end, sure, whatever. But then they did Inside Out. And Inside Out, to me, if you're talking about the soul, it's like talking about the feelings, right? In a human being, deep, philosophical, but still making a children's cartoon. Yeah. Inside Out and Soul are still on the same playing field. Yeah. Inside Out, however, is incredible, and they like knocked it out of the park. Unless you disagree, I think it's great. I think it's a great movie.
Soul's very ambitious.
It's too ambitious. Like, at what point is this an adult cartoon? Yeah. Because if I were a kid, I wouldn't love this movie. No, and I don't think any kid. And I don't love this movie.
It's funny that you bring that up because I was talking to a friend of mine, Lane, and he was talking about how he has like a 2-year-old son, and you know his son loves Coco, and he was talking about how like his son they watch Soul. His son really only cares about one thing in Soul, and it's the cat. That's literally all he talks about. He calls Soul cat movie.
I think that was the saving grace of the movie because I didn't. Whenever they went to the beyond or the escalator to the great beyond or whatever he was on, it kind of lost me. Now the Terrys and the Jerrys, I didn't think were funny, except for the Jerry? The Jerry was like the one that was trying to find him or whatever.
I don't know.
Exactly, man. That's the thing. So the Jerry.
I don't know why they did that. Why they make the names so close that you can't remember who's who?
I don't know. I honestly don't.
I only remember one name in the whole movie, and it's 22 because he says 22 all the time.
What was his name? What was the main character's name?
I don't know.
I don't remember either.
We should. It was
okay. So we're kind of ragging on the movie. It's fine. It's worth a watch. But I personally probably will never watch this movie again.
Me neither.
And it's
at least until I have kids, and even then, I don't think they'll want to watch it.
They probably won't watch it either. Want to rewatch it. So the cat was like what I was saying originally. Is the cat was the children's movie of the thing. Yeah. Of
Joe.
The movie.
His name is Joe.
Joe. Okay. How do we forget Joe?
Terry's the one that was looking for him.
Terry was? I thought it was Jerry.
No.
Anyways, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
The short, chubby one, like
the one that's counting all the people going in.
That was the only laughs for me.
I think so.
Nothing against Tina Fey or Jamie Foxx. They did.
Jamie Foxx did great. I thought
Jamie Foxx did a great job.
Tina Fey did.
Tina Fey?
Tina Fey just did Tina Fey.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. It wasn't amazing. But it was like, well, she did what they asked her to do. But it wasn't like, oh, what a great performance. In my opinion. I thought Jamie Foxx did great. Yeah. But another weird thing is that they should have incorporated more music and more singing into it. Yeah. Especially when you have Jamie Foxx. And he's a piano player. And he's into jazz. Like, they didn't sing. And kids love singing in movies. That's part of the reason they love Coco.
If I got Jamie Foxx to do a movie for me, I'm using all of Jamie Foxx. Yeah. Every bit of him.
He's like a quadruple threat.
I'm having him sing. I'm having him play piano. I'm having him do bench presses because I'm sure he's super fit.
I'm sure.
The movie's not bad.
No.
But it's super forgettable.
Very ambitious and a one and done as far as Pixar movies go. Yeah. It kind of falls in the same as far as like, and I don't think this is a Pixar. It might be a Pixar movie. It kind of falls down there with The Good Dinosaur.
It's Pixar. That's what I was going to say too.
Like,
I think
not a bad,
I think I've seen The Good Dinosaur,
but neither are
but
bad.
I can't remember.
Neither are bad movies.
No,
But at the same time, neither are like, oh, I want to watch that again. It's not like Toy Story 3 where it's like, I can't wait to watch that again.
Right, exactly. Here's the thing. I hate ragging on movies like this because this movie was beautiful. The animators kill it.
Yeah,
I hate that they spent 4 years of their life on a movie I'm never going to watch again.
Yeah.
I feel guilty for saying it.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to watch it.
Yeah.
It was fine.
I get
fine.
that. It was so I think it was just a little too ambitious for a kids movie.
Yeah.
I think they got so into the idea of doing something new and trying to portray what a soul looks like and tell like a deep story that they forgot that they're making a movie for kids.
Yeah. Like the character designs are kiddie, but again, that's on animation. The all the gags and stuff were fine, but there weren't that many.
Yeah, but I mean, I think even Joe's initial character design is forgettable. Like, no kid's gonna want a toy of Joe, and even like his little soul. Did you?
No,
I was about to say that's weird. But you know what I'm saying? Like, even like I would rather have a toy of the barber because he's like big and muscular and cool looking.
He's cool.
Like
yeah.
Joe, like he just looks like a normal little little belly, which they wanted to make him look like a normal guy, but he doesn't have any like visual qualities that's like, oh, like kids love Joe.
Yeah. And I'm sure that was the point, but it should have been the point for a different movie.
Yeah.
It should have, if you wanted to make, because this was all adult. Like the middle-aged man who hasn't had his big break yet, who hasn't accomplished much yet. That's an adult story.
Mm-hmm.
He dies and is in the hospital and his soul is in the great beyond or whatever. And he's teaching like a younger soul. Like, so if you haven't seen it and you're watching this because you don't care, but if you have seen it, it doesn't matter. He's teaching a baby soul its purpose, right?
Mm.
Which I think would have served better in an adult movie, like a guy who's down on his luck, who's never been truly happy, his mom's disappointed in him, blah blah
Lost
blah.
his dad.
Right? Exactly. All those things are adult and something an adult could relate to, but for some reason it's PG in a kids movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's never an emotional payoff, at least to me personally, for an adult to buy into, which is like every Pixar's thing. It makes kids cry and it makes adults cry. Mm-hmm. They're just deep and good and funny movies. Mm. This one was just kind of like a slow cruise down a
and I didn't like the cat thing.
No, but
I didn't like.
At the end of the day, it's a kids movie, and I got why they did it.
Yeah, but I didn't like the Freaky Friday like with a cat thing.
Yeah,
I think, and obviously this doesn't matter. This is just a personal opinion.
If this was an adult movie, call it Freaky Friday with a cat, and it could be freaky.
Yeah, Freaky Cat Day.
Freaky Cat Day.
I think. And this, like I just said, this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The thing that I think they should have done is I think that both Joe and 22 should have both fallen into Joe's body together.
Oh, schizophrenia,
he woke up from like falling in a hole and now all of a sudden he's just acting weird. And she's like taking control of parts of his, like he can't control his hand and then he cuts his own hair off.
Dang. See, there it is.
And then everybody's like, oh, Joe, you just got out of the hospital. You're acting really weird.
Yeah.
Not, oh, Joe, you just got out of the hospital. Why is this cat sitting on your lap?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and then Joe is saying all the things, and he can hear 22 like in his mind.
Yeah.
Like his soul.
Yeah. And then they can teach each other
like
stuff
kind of,
from there.
You know, she's at points takes over his body, and that might be a little weird. But I think that would be a better and it would be a funnier like visual how she's learning how to walk if he's walking and then all of a sudden you can't walk anymore.
Yeah. Here's what clicked in my head just now. This movie is essentially Inside Out. Like it's the interior struggle of a soul. It's the interior struggle of feelings, whatever. It's what makes you you. Mm-hmm. Inside Out is about what feeling makes you you. Mm-hmm. And then the feelings struggling inside. And then this movie is what passion makes you you. And then, all the other things that contribute to that. And also it's like a middle-aged man who hasn't really loved his life on earth, isn't ready to leave it at all, but hasn't amounted to much. to a person like they're opposites is what I'm saying. Like he wants to get back to Earth. She doesn't want to go to Earth at all. Inside Out is joy and sadness, and they're teaming up and they're learning from each other to make Riley, the girl from Inside Out, a better person. And this in the end makes Joe a better person, but it doesn't. I told Sydney this because she didn't really love it either. I said that Soul didn't really have much of a soul to it.
No, and it didn't really pay off at the end either.
Not
like
really.
I feel like they missed the opportunity where the student comes to him and 22's in his body, and she's like saying, "I'm quitting," blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and he's like, he doesn't care.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, that's what she's passionate about. Who cares? Like, let's move on.
Yeah,
they missed an opportunity, I think, for him to tell 22, no, sit down with her, tell her. You know, she's talented. Tell her this and that. And through him, like teaching 22 how to get this kid to keep their passion alive, 22 learns a lesson. And then Joe starts to learn, oh, this is what I'm meant for. I'm meant to teach. I'm meant to encourage this girl. Yeah. But he didn't do that.
I mean, look at his other student. He's the drummer for a very
huge jazz artist. And he's voiced by Questlove, which is the best drummer in the world.
Yeah, exactly. So you see the influence that he already has, and he could have So, man,
you know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of.
I'm happy that we agree on this movie, but I'm also not happy because I feel like somebody should be sticking up for this movie.
I'm sure there are a lot of people who loved this movie, and rightly so. It's beautifully done, and if it touched you, that's great.
That's amazing. I'm happy for you.
I didn't personally.
I wasn't touched, and I'm mad about it.
The main thing I want to say.
Okay.
I didn't dislike it.
No.
It was fun. It was cute. I didn't walk away like, what a waste of time. That was the stupidest movie ever. No. I just walked away like, another movie.
Yeah.
Not anything that I'm gonna write home about.
No, me either.
So, in review, I think Soul is worth a watch. On Disney Plus. If it was in theaters, I would say wait till it comes out on Disney Plus anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
Personally, so it's in the right place.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's got fun moments. It's deep and it's beautiful artistic work.
Yeah.
It's ambitious and there's a lot of beauty and excellence in it, but I don't think that the payoff at the end worked. I don't think it paid off at the end.
I think everything is perfectly done, Pixar quality. Except for the script. Yeah. I don't think the script was that good. Yeah. And maybe it would have been fine if it didn't have the name Pixar. You know? Yeah. Maybe it was on me for having too high of expectations. Yeah. But I had high expectations for Toy Story 4
and much like Mulan, the trailer made Soul look like it was going to take place in that ethereal realm.
Right.
And really that was only for 20 minutes of the movie. Yeah. The whole second act and most of the third act took place on Earth.
Yeah.
So it kind of, the trailer, similar to Mulan, gave both of us an expectation that wasn't the truth.
Right.
I thought they were going to have like a whole adventure in that ethereal plane.
Yeah.
And they didn't. I loved the character, the spinner guy. I thought he was funny.
Yeah, he was funny. The
Graham Norton voiced him.
Really?
I forget what his name was, but I loved that character. I thought it was really funny, like when he snapped out of it and stuff. It had funny moments, but it just didn't all...
I totally agree.
Yeah. There's a little bit of turbulence in the land. We didn't stick the landing, but it was a good ride.
Yeah, it was fine. Watch it. Fine. If you're bored and you're in quarantine and you have nothing else to do.
Yeah. It's not going to make it on any list of mine.
No, me either.
Personally.
Me either. It's crazy that in a year where no movies come out, it probably won't make my top 10.
Yeah. That's true.
It's kind of crazy. Mm-hmm. Whenever everybody's like content starved, still wasn't that good.
But everyone is content starved, and that's why it's got such a high rating right now, because everybody's just happy that they got to see something new. Or
you liked it and we're wrong. And that could be the case too.
That's okay.
That's okay too. I'm all right with that.
Just two men's opinion.
Two grown men watching children's movie.
Yeah.
Telling the internet what they thought about it.
Yeah.
Next movie.
Yeah. I got a lot to say about Wonder Woman 1984.
I think this is where it's going to get fun. First off, I didn't hate it.
Mm-hmm. Me neither. I didn't hate it.
Okay. All right. Your text was deceiving then. I thought you hated it.
I didn't like it at all.
I didn't dislike it. I liked
parts of it. There was only like 2 parts that were actually good.
That's funny because, we don't really do mini movie reviews on this channel. Normally we do like topic related things. But on movie reviews, I normally do like oof notes.
Yeah.
And then
This whole movie was an
regular,
oof note after 20 minutes.
I have 2 that works for me notes, and then the rest are oof notes. But that it makes it sound worse than it was. To get it out of the way, it's I wouldn't say it's fine, but I wouldn't say it's horrible, and I would say it's I don't know. I would say it's worth a watch, but like you don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
It's totally in a gray area where I didn't love it, I didn't hate it,
Yeah.
I didn't.
Well, what did
I
you
wouldn't
love
recommend
about it?
Just 2 things, and we already gave a spoiler warning, right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to hear our thoughts on Soul, but not Wonder Woman, I'd dip now and watch it and come back.
Yeah.
I just like 2 parts. Pedro Pascal did his absolute best with what he had,
Mm-hmm.
and then
Which that's not a spoiler.
no, and then this is the scene where Diana is running away from Steve Trevor.
Mhm.
Steve Trevor. Yeah. Whenever she finally lets him go and sends back her wish and she's running away and like crying.
Mhm.
That wasn't bad.
So those are the only 2 things that you liked about the movie.
That's about it.
That's a crap movie.
It's
Those are
pretty
the
bad.
only 2 things that
but
you liked.
I have to say the scene where she's running away from Steve and she like sends back her wish.
Mm-hmm.
I felt it. Like I think she did a good job. Like
That was the only time that she showed any sort of emotion in the entire movie.
Yeah, but I think that's the only scene in the movie, like in the script, that had any emotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think like that scene, I felt it. Like that sucked. I can imagine that sucked for her. It made Sydney cry. It made my wife cry.
Well, by the time that scene came, they were so deep down in a dumpster fire of a hole that there's no way that one scene could make up for the rest of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
This is one of the only movies that I can think of. This is the only movie off the top of my head that I can think of that had a certified fresh rating that was taken away.
Yeah.
That's bad. That's a bad sign. Like when the first couple reviews were coming out, it got a certified fresh.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes only gives a certified fresh on a movie if they're like 90% certain that it'll stay above 70%.
Yeah.
And they took it away because it dropped below that.
Crazy.
That's a bad sign for a bad movie.
Let's start on oof notes.
Well, do you want to go from the beginning of the movie to the end? Because that's how I have it.
That's how I have mine written.
Okay.
All right. Straight. Let's start at the mall scene. Or do you have anything to say about the Olympics?
The Olympic scene was the best part of the movie.
I agree.
That's what I have to say. The Themyscira scene, the Olympic scene was cool. It was fun.
Yeah.
They put their best foot forward.
Yeah.
I think that they filmed that after the fact because there wasn't enough action in the movie. They needed something more, and they didn't have Gal Gadot. And so they brought in Robin Wright and the woman that played her mom.
Yeah.
Because there were 2 beginnings to the movie.
Yeah.
This origin, Last Crusade style beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And then the other mall beginning type to the movie where similar to like an Indiana Jones where there's an adventure at the beginning that kind of leads into the big plot.
Yeah.
They had 2 openings to the movie. And those were the 2 best parts of the movie, in my opinion, was the Themyscira Olympic thing.
Yeah.
Which even that has sin riddled in it because in the first movie, remember, Diana's mom won't let her train.
I don't remember that at all.
In the first movie, when she's a little girl, it's the same little girl that played her. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
But there's a whole thing where Robin Wright like wants to train her and blah blah blah, and the mom won't let her be trained because she's too young and she's the only like newborn in all of Themyscira, and that's like a part of her whole story in the first movie is that her mom won't let her train. And then all of a sudden, like 2 years later, she's like an Olympian.
Yeah.
So I liked that scene. I thought the adventure of it was fun.
Yeah.
It was. I thought the little girl was cute and
she was
adorable and did
on the
a great
back of a
little job.
horse and sliding down the mountain.
I thought it was fun.
Totally.
What's funny, and then 2, we fast forward, and then she learns this lesson that never has any payoff about you cheated, which kind of maybe can relate to her trying to cheat by keeping Steve alive, but not really. There's never any like, oh, remember at the beginning of the movie when I learned this lesson?
Yeah.
And now it's come back to me. Like that never happened. So even the lesson that Diana learned, that's like my first oof note is like, what was Robin Wright's lesson? Like it didn't have anything to do with anything about you cheated. And the truth, blah blah blah. Then she tells the truth. It didn't pay off.
Don't
but
get ahead of yourself.
But I liked that scene.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
scene
it was a lot
good.
of fun.
That scene was good.
It had a really good pace, and like when I was watching that, I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun movie.
Yeah.
And then we get into the 1980s.
Yeah.
At a mall, there's
Yeah.
like tons of 80s nostalgia.
Okay.
It's basically Stranger Things.
It's Stranger Things. So to the movie's credit, it didn't lean as hard as I thought it would into
1984.
It didn't.
It should have.
It might have.
If it
might have
did,
benefited, but I don't know.
here's why I think this scene worked. Because it was campy and cheesy, and it felt like an old Sam Raimi movie. It felt like Sam Raimi Spider-Man. It felt like the Christopher Reeve Superman stuff.
This isn't like
it wasn't taking itself too seriously like DC movies do now.
Darkseid wasn't coming in and going to destroy the world. It was purely
It's purely fun, adventure,
this
bright.
This is where I don't know. I agree with you. It was bright. It was fun. Mm-hmm. And then one of the robbers hung a kid over a balcony.
Yeah, that was stupid and illogical and didn't make. And he was like, "I'm not going back." Hey, dude, you're in a mall.
Yeah.
Like, even if you drop this girl and kill her, you're still arrested because you're in a mall.
Absolutely.
What are you doing?
No.
And what's funny is
sense.
even like the other robber guys are like, "What are you doing? Stop it! What are you doing? Stop! Why are you holding?" You know.
Yeah.
But it was silly.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense, but it worked for me a little bit if they would have kept the rest of the movie in that same like vein of like kind of campy.
Yeah.
It could have worked really well.
Yeah.
This whole movie, in my opinion, was one turn of the screw away from being a parody of a superhero movie. It was every
I
didn't think
about that,
every cliche from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Like I even wrote down, and we'll get to this, but I'll just say it now while I'm talking about this. It is every cliche of a superhero movie. It's like if it was a little bit more like on the comedy side of like slapstick, it would be a straight up like Wayans Brothers, not another superhero movie.
Yeah, sure.
From Gal Gadot's very like straight performance to specifically the corny Pedro Pascal's like cheesy bad guy thing was a parody of like 80s campy villains.
Yeah.
Kristen Wiig's character is the same. We've seen that character.
The Riddler.
It's the Riddler. It's Jamie Foxx's Electro, where it's the nerdy character that is obsessed with the hero and wants to be like them.
Yeah.
And then they can't, so they become evil.
Right.
We've seen that before. Even Diana losing her powers, Spider-Man 2, Superman 2, like giving up your powers for love. Like Superman gave up his powers in 1980 so that he could be with Lois. And then same with, Peter Parker loses his powers because he's not feeling fulfilled in his life and in his love life. Yeah. And he loses his powers. And then at the end, in the third act, they get their powers back. Yeah. We've seen all of these things before.
We've seen it all. Yeah. My first oof note, and this is where I kind of knew what this movie was going to be. It was when she threw the robbers off the top of the mall. Yeah. And it crushed a cop car. Yeah. Did she kill them?
She at least killed the guy on the bottom.
At least, right?
Yeah.
So only one of them were horrible, like people.
Yeah.
The other three might have just been like robbing to pay the bills, robbing to get rich quick, whatever. Mm-hmm. Not great people, but not bad people. But the guy who hung the kid over the side of the balcony,
he deserved a little extra.
Sure, if you wanted to drop him off the top of the mall, drop him off the top of the mall. I'm not going to write you up. I'm not going to arrest you. Mm-hmm. But she tied all four of them together
and then threw them off of a building
onto a cop car.
Now she's not only destroyed public property inside the mall by throwing her tiara and breaking cameras, but now she's destroyed a public, like a law enforcement vehicle. Yeah. She's destroyed that and potentially killed 3 guys.
Here's all I'm saying. She had them tied up. Mm-hmm. She could have either left them what would have been funny? If she left them in the fountain in the middle of the mall and they're like getting drenched by water and they're uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see them and,
and then the cops come in and surround them in the fountain.
Yeah. But she tied them up and she was like, I'll throw them off the roof.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Onto
she
a
ties
cop
them
car.
up and puts them in the fountain, and then it like shows a shot like looking up at her, and she flicks and she like spins a quarter, and it like hits one of the guys, and she's like, "You better wish for a good lawyer," and then runs away, and then all the cops come in. You know,
That's
and
good.
It's like, oh, she got a little one-liner.
Yeah,
in.
sure.
It was fun,
Or she can throw him off a building
and kill them all,
and probably kill him.
But
At least paralyzed.
yeah.
Let's
move
first,
on.
That was my first one.
Let's move on.
was like,
I will say
whoa.
this about Kristen Wiig's performance. I thought she did a good job.
I was pleasantly
She did a good
surprised.
job. She's a good actress, though.
She is.
She played.
She was better in the movie than she was in the trailer. I
played
didn't buy her at all in the trailer.
Yeah, she played Minerva, kind of like an SNL character. You know, like a goofy, like nerdy, whatever. But it worked.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't hate her performance at all. Pedro Pascal's performance. I'm just reading off my notes right now.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal's performance in a cheesy, campy 80s movie villain sort of way worked. It was intentionally over the top, but for the character and the direction that I think they were trying to go in.
Yeah.
You know, we're still kind of in like a good area here at this point with it's starting by the time we meet Pedro Pascal's character and Kristen Wiig almost gets mugged and Diana saves her. That scene was too long. It could have been shorter. When he's like getting the tour of the Smithsonian, that was too long, but I was still like, we're coasting. We're still good.
Yeah. When did it go south?
When Steve came back.
Thank you. Thank you.
When
Steve entered another man's body, I couldn't get over that fact.
Yeah.
So why did he have to take over another man's body? What happened to that man?
That man was just possessed. He was just gone. His soul was gone, and Steve was in. And what's interesting, and I mean, everyone else was seeing who's the guy who he looks in the mirror and sees. On IMDb, he is handsome man. Like that's his credit is handsome man. Everybody else in the world, besides us, the audience, is seeing handsome man, not Chris Pine.
Exactly.
And Diana maybe is seeing Chris Pine because at one point she says something about like all I see is you.
I feel like that's what you tell.
But she's seeing handsome man because then he looks in the mirror and he's like, oh, not bad. I kind of like it. Blah,
I
blah,
like
blah.
him. Yeah.
Here's my first weird thing is that man's possessed by Chris Pine.
Right.
She molests the guy.
Jesus.
She does.
Jesus.
Let me say it in a different way.
No, keep it.
Diana sexually assaults this man's body.
Sure. I mean,
he doesn't give consent to Diana to have sex with her
okay,
in
but
his
let's
apartment.
be real. I've seen the man's wardrobe, and I would say that he would be fine with whatever.
Doesn't matter. She's Wonder Woman. The morality of the fact that he's possessed and she's sleeping with him anyway.
Sure.
That's kind of messed up if you think about it.
I mean,
but think about it. Think about it truly. If she's really seen another dude's face that's saying I'm Steve, and she goes back to his apartment and sleeps with him,
but she knows it's Steve.
But it's not his body.
Sure, but will he remember it? I guess that's a gamble you'd have to take for true love.
No, it's not a gamble that Wonder Woman should take, a superhero who's all about morality and truth and justice.
Maybe, but like,
no,
this Wonder Woman, because she hasn't gotten over her dead boyfriend for 70 years, however long it's been.
No. And
I never thought about it. I mean, yes, you're technically right.
Well, not technically, physically.
Oh, sure, physically. In the real world, I wouldn't. Yeah, if I were Wonder Woman, I wouldn't do it.
Yes or no, should she have done that?
No. I mean, if you're saying it in the real world, but if you're telling me that's the first time you stopped, like you disabled your suspension of disbelief, if that's like as early as you suspended it in this movie, you've got a long movie to go.
I know, and I did. That's messed up.
Sure, yeah.
That's messed up morally.
I didn't think about it that way.
I'm not saying that
I thought it was weird, but
under other circumstances, I wouldn't think as deeply about it. But because it's Wonder Woman, a superhero who's supposed to be good and lawful,
yeah,
that's kind of messed up. That she was that she was that lonely for her boyfriend that she was willing to like sleep with another person's body. That's kind of weird.
I mean, yes. Okay, you're right. I understand it. I think you are right. But maybe she was telling the truth. Maybe she's so good and so just and so heartsick about Steve dying 70 years ago or whenever he died. Maybe she really did. All she saw was him.
Yeah, but she's in the other guy's apartment.
But here's the thing. Let's take it a step further. Let's say Heather possesses my body. Nothing bad happens to Heather. Heather possesses my body. I still sound the same. And I say, hey, David, I'm Heather. I've missed you. I haven't seen you all day. What you doing, boy?
I'm not touching you. If Sydney possessed my body, you'd make out with me.
I would make out with you at the most.
Oh my God.
If we're drawing lines.
No. So I look like me.
I'm just kidding. It's all a joke. It's gone too far.
Yeah.
I would make out with you.
I would not touch you. I want my wife back. I don't want Braden.
Oh, that's so funny. If we're taking it to extremes, let's take it to the extreme.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Anyways.
No, but even more so, here's another extreme. We can cut all this out. Hypothetically speaking, Sydney dies.
Oof.
Right. You're heartbroken, obviously.
Ouch. Sure.
And another beautiful woman comes up to you and says, they're Sydney. Are you going to sleep with them?
Oh, God. I mean, no, I wouldn't.
Why not?
Because I'm a man of principle.
But Wonder Woman's not? Wonder Woman's not a woman of principle?
Well, has it been 70 years?
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know.
See what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
See why there's a lot of confusing gray area now?
I do see.
So you're more likely to make out with me than a very attractive. You don't want to answer anything that's going to make you sleep on the couch.
Let's move
you don't
on.
want to answer anything that's going to make you sleep on the couch, and I'm not going to either. Obviously not.
No, I wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't, because
it.
you're a man of principle. That's what I'm saying is, even if Diana was seeing Chris Pine's face, at first she saw the other guy's face and was like, who are you, creep?
Yeah.
And then like we did that weird spin around, and then all of a sudden it's Chris Pine, and then she just starts kissing him in the middle of a Christmas party or whatever they're at, a gala.
Yeah, sure.
And then she goes back to some stranger's apartment, pictures of that guy and probably his family all over the walls.
Yeah.
Every time dude looks in the mirror, he sees handsome man and still proceeds to
make love with his wonderful woman.
Yeah. I didn't like that. I thought that was kind of weird.
I thought it was weird too, because here's my thing. If the stone can make people drop dead, if it can change,
it can create missiles out of nowhere. It can create walls out of nowhere. Why can't it create a person?
A person to a cat, why can't it raise the dead? Mm-hmm. So what I thought, whenever I had that thought, why didn't they actually bring Chris Pine back to life?
Through his watch that it showed shake and then there was no payoff.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about. Chris Pine just comes back. It's Chris Pine.
Yeah.
You know, if I can believe that he possessed another man's body, I can believe he came back from the dead.
Absolutely. And then
so what if that happens and then he slowly starts decaying?
I mean, once she takes her wish away, it would have been better if there was a Thanos snap, like a disappearance of he just turns like and disappears. And then it's like, oh, you start seeing at the end when everybody's taking their wishes away, oh, things are disappearing, just like Chris Pine did when he kind of just blew away into the wind. They've already stolen from so many superhero movies at this point. Who cares if they take the Thanos snap?
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, sure.
That would have been a better like story thread to me than him possessing some other living man's body.
That was weird to me, and Sydney, who watched it with me, she also didn't like that. It was just weird. Just make him come back.
And then two, if everybody's seeing the other guy's face, not Chris Pine's face, that means after the events of this movie transpire, the police have footage of that guy stealing a plane from the Smithsonian with a woman who works at the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Like, that guy's in a lot of trouble. Yeah. He's not just admiring Christmas randomly in a Hallmark movie at the end.
All right. Well, we're going to get back to people who should have gotten in trouble.
So I said that when Steve came back, he possessed another man's body. Everyone else sees handsome man except the audience and Diana at first, until she says, all I see is you. What happened to Diana's morality when she decided to essentially sleep with another man just to be with her ghost boyfriend.
Yeah.
Also, just real quick, Steve being like blown away by escalators. There were escalators around in World War I.
Really?
Especially in Europe where Wonder Woman, the first one, takes place. There were escalators.
That blows my mind. Was it like a bunch of little mice? Like
I don't know how the
running on the
mechanism
bottom
worked,
and it was
but
turning it?
escalators were around
Huh.
back then.
Wow.
So him being like shocked and amazed by an escalator was just lazy writing, and they could have just done a Wikipedia search and found out that what I found out, which was escalators were around.
I'm just going to do a quick Google. When were escalators invented?
Yeah. What?
1892.
That was right around, when was World War I? Early 1900s, right?
Early 1900s.
And I'm sure that escalators originated in Europe, right? Like France or something?
They've been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
By the time of the end of World War I.
Yeah. So the fact that Patty Jenkins wrote a whole scene where Diana shows Steve an escalator and it blows his mind like Elf doesn't make any sense. When she could have literally, in the last 1 minute that we Googled that, she could have done that and be like, oh, well, I can't do that. Let's just do an elevator instead. And then he can freak out about being in a box.
I mean, to the general public, I never caught it.
But there were elevators around back then too. They just shouldn't have done that. I hated that.
They should. I didn't. Like, come on.
But that just
I'll give them that. I'll give them that.
Just to me, though, no. She made millions of dollars writing this movie and couldn't do a Google search on when escalators were invented.
Give it to her. I like Patty.
I like Patty Jenkins as a director.
Patty's a bud of mine.
She's great as a director.
I'll give it to her.
She's great as a director. Here's my next problem.
Okay.
We're going... If a jet is on display at the Smithsonian, it isn't gassed up and ready to fly away.
Bro, maybe. Maybe
not maybe.
It's the 4th of July.
They hollow those boys out. Secondly, since when is it the 4th of July? It's just randomly the 4th of July.
It's just the 4th of July. When's the last time you looked at your watch and said, oh, it's the 4th of July? Last 4th of July?
No. Okay, here's my other thing. Why? One, how does
Steve, welcome back. It's the 4th of July.
Steve is familiar with planes from the early 1900s.
Yeah.
How does he know how to fly a jet in 1984? He doesn't, because like, and then he just says the bullcrap about it's just air. That's lame. Two, why is he acting so amazed at seeing fireworks? Fireworks have been around since the Song Dynasty. Like, fireworks have been around since like straight up like 800 years ago. Fireworks have been around.
What? No, they haven't.
What are you talking about?
Around 200 BC.
That's what I'm saying. Fine.
2,200 years ago.
That's what I'm saying, though, is fireworks. Why is he so shocked to see fireworks? Literally on the 4th of July, 1776, the actual 4th of July, they shot off fireworks on that day. Why is he so shocked to see fireworks?
You know what he should have done? He should have like freaked out and crashed a plane because he thought he was under attack, like PTSD.
Yeah. It's happening again. It's happening again.
He was literally killed in the air.
I know.
He should have been freaking out.
Also, while we're talking about the jet, although her making the jet invisible was like a cute little callback to a Wonder Woman vehicle, that was lame.
I thought it was too. She was just like...
And then two, here's the other thing. Just because the jet is invisible doesn't make it invincible to being shot by fireworks.
I had the exact same thought. But okay, let's... At this point of the movie, I was settled into disbelieving this movie.
At this point in the movie, I was settled into being offended by this movie.
Well, I really don't like the first Wonder Woman that much. It's a much tighter movie. The ending sucks. I probably won't ever watch it again.
That's fair. I wasn't in love with the first one, but I was at least hoping that this one with the 1980s aesthetic would at least kind of make it fun and interesting and new and fresh.
I didn't have a bad time in this movie. I didn't think it was fresh or fun or new.
It wasn't.
I didn't have a bad time though. And like this fireworks scene, my brain pointed out all the things that was wrong.
The fireworks scene is contrived.
I bought it.
The fireworks scene is contrived because the original release date was around 4th of July. They made that scene so that when we were all seeing it in the, the other parallel universe where COVID didn't happen and this movie came out in the summer, they were making it so it's like, oh, look,
Yeah.
Just like it's happening.
Yeah.
That's also, I guarantee, why they put that bull Christmas scene at the end, because
Yeah.
they
'Cause
reshot
now it's
that
happening
because
in
now it's a
Christmas.
Christmas movie. Anyway, that was silliness. Absolute silliness.
Yeah.
And also them flying through the fireworks. That scene was too long. They were
It was
flying through
very
those
long.
fireworks for so long.
Yeah. I still think he should have just freaked out. He should have just freaked out
He should have. That would have been funnier.
because it would have been funny.
She's like having to talk him down like while he's flying a plane. That would have been pretty funny.
he died in the air.
I know. I remember. And so does she. She should have known better. Oh my gosh. Let's move on. So they finally get to, where is it, Cairo, that they're flying
Somewhere
to,
in the Middle East,
to
yeah.
find Pedro Pascal,
Yeah.
to get the stone. She's wearing just a white button-up shirt. Here's my next thing that also makes this movie like a parody movie to me, is the scene where she's just wearing a button-up white shirt, and then all of a sudden she jumps out of the car door, throws the shirt, and she has her full Wonder Woman suit on.
Tiara and everything. She was doing the invisibility field around her tiara.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she also has an illusion field of clothes. Of pants. Just pants. She
Yeah.
can't do the shirt yet. Just pants. She rips her shirt off and also disables her fields, and we're there.
We had to pause it because we were like, wait, where did that was so jarring. Also, between the mall scene and this scene, 100 minutes.
No way.
100 minutes without Wonder Woman in her costume.
100 minutes? How long
Yeah.
was this movie?
This movie was 2.5 hours.
My gosh.
This movie was way too long. And 100 minutes of it, she never wears her Wonder Woman suit.
That's crazy.
It's all cheesy, her and Steve doing stuff.
Yeah.
And Pedro Pascal like
Yeah.
being possessed,
Well,
wishing to be a
funny.
rock.
Yeah, that's true.
He should have just turned into a rock.
I was about to say that. It's funny because I didn't pick up on this movie being so long, mainly because we had another dinner to go to or something, and we split it up over 2 nights. So it never clicked in my head that this movie was that long.
Mhm.
In my head, I watched 2 movies on 2 separate nights.
That probably made it a little more palatable.
That's
for you.
probably why I halfway enjoyed it. Like,
Yeah. Sit down and watch the whole thing in one sitting.
I don't want to because
I know you
I
don't.
split it up over 2 nights. I'm like, yeah, I'll never watch this again.
It didn't. This movie should have been 2 hours at most.
Yeah.
There was 30 minutes of just nonsense.
Yeah.
So secondly,
but by this time, Pedro Pascal has already become the genie rock.
He's already abandoned his son multiple times.
Exactly. By this time, Sydney was already asking me, what's his purpose? Like, what's he doing this for?
Sure.
And I was getting upset at her for asking these questions that I didn't know the answer to. And I was like, Sydney, it's because just stop asking questions. Like, I was getting offended, but I didn't write the movie. So she had every right to be like, Braden, what's the point of this movie?
Yeah,
And
what's
I'm like,
going on?
I don't know.
That's fair. Fair
Yeah.
point, Sydney.
It was only after the movie I was like, I don't know.
Also, let's talk about this for just a second. We don't have to harp on this, but she's chasing after these tanks. They're shooting at her. Steve jumps up on the top of a tank and tries to like stomp a
machine gun.
machine gun, and that doesn't work. They're having a full-on war going 60 miles per hour down this back road, and there are kids playing in the street who don't hear any of it and continue to play soccer in the street.
It's just another day for us in
I
the
was
Middle
like,
East.
Those kids
What
deserve whatever comes to them. If they don't have enough sense to be like, oh, there's 10 tanks coming at us
Yeah.
and gunfire, and we're gonna keep playing soccer in the road.
And then Wonder Woman tackles them at least 40 miles an hour. And then rolls
and
with
she's
them.
holding her lasso, and then it slips out of her hand because she's losing her powers or something, and proceeds to like barrel roll on top of these kids and like,
She's like,
crush their bones.
I'm so glad I saved you. And they're just like red.
They're just
puddles of-
mangled and like
They look like the robbers from the beginning of the movie. Her body count is getting really high for this movie.
Oh man, those kids didn't. Oh, anyway, the next thing that I do want to talk about too, is when I'm gonna fast forward because it got real. Just there's so much to dissect that I can't mentally do it. What do you have next on your list?
You get one wish until you get 2.
That perfect point. That was my next thing. Is why did Barbara all of a sudden decide for a new wish? She already had superpowers.
And he said he was feeling gracious. So,
and why did she want to be... Up until this point, Barbara has shown no interest in being an apex predator.
No.
Literally, she based... As far as we know in her character development, she bases this entire wish on Diana's shoes.
Right. Yeah. Because she can't walk in high heels.
It would have made more sense if Barbara was the one wearing the cheetah shoes and couldn't walk in them, and Diana said something about, oh, I love your shoes, and she says, yeah, I love cheetahs. Done.
Yeah.
It's not like the comic book where Barbara's an archaeologist and she discovers this tomb of this spirit of the cheetah and it inhabits her. That would have been cooler to watch, honestly, but whatever. Patty Jenkins is just doing her own thing.
I don't care. Yeah, that's fine. Do whatever.
She basically decides to become a cheetah when her only interest in cheetahs up until this point
were the shoes.
Were Diana's shoes. That doesn't make any I don't get that.
I don't know. She said predator, and then I bought maybe the shoes were unrelated. Maybe it was just foreshadowing in a way. I'm not trying to defend
either way. It was silly.
I didn't.
Either way,
I didn't dig that
take the
into
shoe
it.
scene out then.
Sure.
Why is it here?
I want to be an apex predator. She becomes a panther or a cheetah, whatever. Yeah.
Or at some point when she's everybody's obsessed with her and she's like, oh, my glasses don't work anymore, blah, blah, blah. If she's saying something about how the cheetah is an apex predator and how it's the best animal ever, that would have made more sense to me. And then it makes sense later on in the story. And then, he just gives her 2 wishes.
You were much harsher on this movie than I was.
Because this movie's garbage. It's a bad movie. It honestly is. I mean, it's a bad job.
It's probably a bad movie, but
it's a bad job.
I didn't hate it.
And it's too long.
It is.
It was a bad job.
Anyways, the whole you get 1 wish until you get 2, and he made a big deal about his son making a wish for him to be with him or whatever, him to be successful or whatever.
His goodness. I wish for your goodness or something.
Yeah, greatness. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Who cares? Anyways, he made a big deal about that, but he gave his Kristen Wiig 2 wishes,
or did she lose the first wish?
How could she? She didn't recant it, give it back, or what did they say?
I guess not.
I recant my wish. I recall my wish. I
don't remember.
I de-wish my wish. Anyways, that was kind of dumb to me, and Sydney was already like, why does he get 2 wishes? I'm like, oh, I don't know, Sydney.
But it doesn't make sense either, because if in the final fight scene between Wonder Woman and the only reason Kristen Wiig is in this movie is so that Wonder Woman has somebody to fight at the end.
Yeah. Also,
weird, that gold armor apparently fought off hundreds of men, and then Kristen Wiig just rips it apart.
Yeah, she gives it a little claw.
It was like tinfoil. How did this? That didn't make any sense. So why did Wonder Woman have that armor on if it wasn't going to work?
But what also didn't make any sense is if she's like Diana, she wants to be an apex predator. How is she vulnerable to electricity? But
because Diana's powers, she's the daughter of Zeus, right? So she can't be electrocuted. Yeah. Cool. But
she said she wanted to be like Diana.
But if Barbara is gaining Diana's powers, she should not have been electrocuted.
Yeah.
Unless that wish got thrown away so that she could become a cheetah girl.
Yeah, sure.
That's the only way that it makes sense. Otherwise,
so you're saying we watched Freaky Cat Day,
Freaky Cheetah Girls Day,
Freaky Cat Day, and then Wonder Woman Cheetah Girls.
Yeah. I'd watch Cheetah Girls over Wonder Woman right now.
I probably would too.
It's shorter and they're singing and dancing in Raven Simone. Yeah, that didn't make any sense. The gold armor didn't make any sense. The fact that they rendered the whole fight scene at night to hide how bad the animation was didn't work either, because it was just Cheetah didn't look good. She looked like she was from Cats.
She looked better than Cats, didn't she? I didn't
not
think
much better.
I didn't think much about it.
Not
I was
much
like,
better.
They made it dark because it's easier to hide bad animation in the dark.
That's absolutely why they did it.
I'm down. If they didn't have the budget for it, that's fine. I'm down. Do your thing. Again, I was much more giving to this movie. I was just down to watch a movie and have a decent time.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because I don't really have many ties to Wonder Woman. I didn't really like the first movie.
I didn't like it either, but at least the story itself was a little bit cognizant, except for the random bad guy
at the end.
You know?
Wonder Woman's a good movie till the end. This one was a lot looser, but it had some fun moments for me.
Yeah.
I thought the scene with Cheetah was fine. Like, it's bad, but it's fine. Whatever. I can look past it.
Here's another thing that I didn't like about the movie. The biggest cliche in the world, not in movies, in the world. If someone came to you and said, a genie's going to give you one wish, what do you wish for?
I wish for more wishes?
No.
Oh.
What's the one thing that everybody says? It's literally the first thing everyone says. Not everyone, but most people.
I want to be cooler?
No.
I don't know what you want from me, David.
Everybody wishes for world peace all the time.
Oh.
So how come the world is going to pot and nobody's wishing for world peace and they're not just canceling each other out?
I don't know.
That doesn't make any sense to me either.
No.
Because everybody's getting a TV wish, but everybody's wishing for a farm in the middle of the city and stuff, but nobody's saying, I wish that people would just get along.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally about to, like, there are riots in the street. There's not one person.
One person wished, I wish for world peace.
Yeah.
And I feel like more people watching all that crap go down would be like, you know what? I'm taking my wish and I'm wishing for world peace.
Yeah.
And the fact that the president wants nukes, like that's his biggest wish. No.
Yeah.
No. I have to believe that any president, when given that wish, would say, I wish for peace among our nation.
Yeah.
I hope. That's probably
I
not
would
true.
Hope so.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of corrupt politicians.
Yeah.
But I would hope that a true person who cares about the country wouldn't say, more nukes. I want more nukes so that I can fight them back.
But then that's another thing. Like, whether he wanted power, Pedro Pascal's character, whether he wanted power or whatever he was after, I still don't know. What good is power
if the whole world is blowing up?
If it's all gone.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sun.
And if everybody gets a wish, how many millions of people wish that they're the most powerful person in the world? More than Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. It's such a fickle plot device that it's just, there's too many holes.
Way too many. And then somehow the lasso of truth becomes like an XLR cable.
Yeah.
And she broadcasts her message.
But before that, here's another weird thing.
Okay.
Wonder Woman, she fought off Cheetah. She's the strongest woman in the world. She couldn't walk through that wind. Wind tunnel.
It was pretty crazy.
She's Wonder Woman. All of a sudden, she's literally riding lightning like Tarzan, and she can't like muster up the power to walk through some wind. She has all of her power back at this point.
Can she fly? Can she fly at this point of the movie?
Yeah. Well, she can't. She can fall with style.
Okay.
Because that's what she does.
I mean, hey man, maybe, I don't know. Maybe she's too tired from raping all the dudes.
Say that.
Maybe
it doesn't make sense why she can't get through the wind to him.
Sure, I'll give it to her. Whatever. Maybe she's tired. Maybe she's sleepy.
She's Wonder Woman, and this is her final hour.
Okay, but why would you walk through the wind when you could just lasso his ankle and tell the truth? And like,
just tackle him and make him stop, and then get in the tunnel and start communicating with people.
Yeah, but like, what if? Yeah, but it's more effective.
It's not.
You can give a monologue and your hair's blowing back.
It's so not. Oh
anyways, what the biggest problem I had with this end scene? Remember whenever he had the flashback when he's regaining his humanity? Mm-hmm. He had the flashback
that just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
like some
where he
random...
peed the bed.
Yeah, I remember.
That was a lot of urine in that bed.
That looked like the kid stood on the outside of the bed and peed onto it.
It did. The entire bed was covered in urine. The entire bed. So, two things. One, he drank way, like a huge slushie before bed, like a 60-ounce Sonic slushie before bed. And his dad was mad at him, or the dad had no issue being mad at him because he gave his son a 60-ounce Slurpee right before bed. Or he stood up on his nightstand and peed all over the bed, where the dad is probably valid for getting upset. You know, that was a lot of pee.
The reason the dad's yelling at him is because he just told him, listen, son, you need to stop peeing in the bed. And then Pedro Pascal just walked over, dropped trowel, and just stood there, hands on his hips, and just was like, is this what I need to stop doing, Dad? Peeing on the bed? And then his dad yelled at him. That flashback came out of nowhere. It didn't make any sense.
No.
Also, it didn't, up until that point, we didn't know that he had father issues.
No.
We knew he wanted to be a good dad to his son, but
Yeah.
there should have been a scene before that of his son doing something and him getting mad at him and almost yelling at him and stopping himself, saying to his son,
like he's struggling.
I'll never be like my father.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a good blah, blah, blah. And then that flashback would make more sense. Not as much because we haven't gotten any flashbacks up until this point, but at least a little bit more.
Sure.
That was random and weird.
Yeah.
Last couple things. One, that little boy was stuck in that Wolf of Wall Street IBM like office floor by himself all day and night. Pedro Pascal's on TV. How is that kid's mom not seeing the dad on TV and be like, where's my son?
Yeah, I wish I had my son. I wish my son was safe.
I wish my son was safe. Where's my son?
Instead, what if she was?
Not only is Pedro Pascal the worst dad ever, but she's the worst mom ever.
No, she's a great mom. This is a deleted scene, and if you like,
I wish my son was hiding in a bush.
Yes, I wish my son was safe and hiding in a bush. Done. Safe,
Gone.
hiding in a bush until Papa, who just ruined the world, comes back out singing your name.
And then here's another weird thing. The son runs up to the TV screen. I wish you were here with me, Dad. I wish you were here. He runs out of the building, right? It's nighttime outside. He runs out of the building. He's on like some sort of street, and it's daytime all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Is it nighttime or daytime? Wonder Woman's fighting Cheetah at nighttime. The kid's making the wish at nighttime.
It was far away. It was far away. It took him a long time to run across the water.
It took him a whole 12 hours to run down the stairs and get to the road.
Yeah, you know how fast the sun comes up? It takes like hours.
Goodness.
Just a couple hours. I'll give it to him. Sure. I'll give it to him. But you know what? I won't give it to him.
What?
Bro, nothing happens to Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's another thing that I think should have happened. When he's like, All-a-star, and his son pops up out of a bush like a Cabbage Patch doll.
Yeah.
He should have been like running to his son, and then he just gets tased and falls over and a handcuff him.
Are you telling me that Wonder Woman will throw 4 robbers off the top of a mall?
And she just lets Pedro Pascal go free. Not only that, but he comes back in a helicopter. Somebody flew him back to Washington, D.C. Like, no.
Does he still have his powers? Is he still the wishing stone?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Also, the fact that this, the whole monkey's paw thing of the wish and it takes something from you, literally, the only way, the easiest way to stop it. I don't want my wish anymore. That's it.
Yeah.
I recant my wish.
Yeah.
So whatever.
If everybody recanted their wish, does that mean Wonder Woman got her powers back?
Yeah, because she lost Steve. She renounced her wish. It's gone.
So whenever everybody in the world renounces their wish and regains what they've lost.
Not everybody in the world's going to do that anyway.
Yeah, but let's say they did.
Okay, they did.
Let's give it to them.
Sure.
Does Pedro Pascal get to just keep everything he took, but
No, he has to give it all back.
So he should have died.
Because the stone had to give back her powers.
Right.
We never saw if that woman who got wished to drop dead ever came back to life, though. We never got a shot of her sitting up like, I'm alive. So
maybe he kept it all. Maybe he kept it all. Most.
We don't know.
Most. I didn't hate it. I thought it was, less than fine. I was disappointed with both the movies I watched this week, but it is what it is.
Wonder Woman 84 was, I didn't have a huge expectancy for it, and I was still disappointed.
I didn't have any expectancy at all. Like, I didn't think it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be bad, and it's exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was just like middle of the road, nothing special.
I think your opinion would be different if you watched the whole thing in one sitting.
It could have been. It definitely could have been.
Once you're like an hour and 45 into it and you still have like almost an hour left, it starts to weigh on you a little bit.
I bet it does. Yeah, maybe that's what it was, but I won't ever rewatch it because even after splitting it up into 2 nights.
I never watched Wonder Woman again after the first time.
Yeah, not that it's bad, but not that it's good.
Yeah. I think Patty Jenkins is a great director, but I don't think she wrote this movie well.
Did she write this movie?
Zack Snyder wrote the first one.
Really?
And she wrote this one. I think that it could have been better if they would have just been like, throw it to the wind. Let's just make like a campy Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah. Like the ending credit scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make it campy.
Where, what's her name?
Linda
Carter. Just was
Showed up.
the original warrior with the gold suit or whatever. I was like, and then she like literally breaks the fourth wall, looks at the camera, is like, and like,
It's like a Bewitched thing.
yeah, it was weird.
It was weird. You just give a little
I
smile.
don't know. I wanted so bad to love this movie, and I loved the first 20 of the. Not loved. I enjoyed the first 20 minutes of the movie. I really did. I loved the Themyscira Olympian like whole thing with her as a little girl. I would have taken that all day.
Yeah, it was fun.
Even the mall thing was like corny, but it
Sure.
kind of had like a little bit of like it felt like a Sam Raimi like kind of
Sure.
funny.
Yeah, it's like the bank robber scene in Spider-Man where he like zips them out of the Corvette or the convertible and then like swebs them to a lamppost. Fun.
With like a note like from your friendly neighborhood
Yeah.
Spider-Man like
Yeah.
stuck to him. That's great, but the movie just it was just too long. I think that it could have been better if they would have just trimmed the fat. Like this movie did not have to be 2.5. It didn't even have to be 2 hours, I don't think. This movie was like a solid 145 and they had more action and they cut out a lot of the Steve and Diana like boring stuff.
Yeah.
They could have really just cut down on a lot of the Barbara stuff too, but I don't know. It was just all over the place.
It was definitely all over the place.
If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. Give me some of your justifying moments in Wonder Woman. I'm happy to be wrong. I really wanted to enjoy this movie, and I just didn't. And I don't want to seem super pessimistic.
I enjoyed it more than you.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say you watched 2 movies.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't.
Yeah, that's true.
3 hours of my life was this.
That's pretty crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
I texted my wife's family who's wanted to see it, and I was like, "Hey, Wonder Woman 84 is not that bad. Just give it a watch." Because we had talked about it on Christmas because we had heard the reviews were really bad, and it's no good. Don't watch it. And I was like, "Hey, don't listen to it. It's fine." And I stand by that. But again, I'll never watch it again.
Yeah.
So,
I would say skip it. And if you just come across it one day, like randomly, you can play it and watch it. But I wouldn't tell anyone, hey, go watch Wonder Woman 84.
I would say it's as good as the first for different reasons.
I wouldn't say that.
Maybe, I mean,
personally,
again, take it with a grain of salt
saying.
because I haven't seen the whole thing through and through. I split it
think
up over
about
2 nights.
it's
hey,
worth
maybe
it.
split it over 2 nights.
Maybe that's
do
the
it.
maybe that's the
Maybe because I didn't have a bad time. I didn't have a great time, but I didn't have a bad time.
yeah. That might be a better cure. Like
Yeah.
an hour and a half. Like watch an hour and a half of it, and then watch another hour of it, and give yourself an intermission of because it was literally 1/8 of my day watching this movie.
That is crazy.
And it's
I never
it's
once
not
did
even
I think
it's
about
not
it
even
being
like
long.
watching the director's cut of Lord of the Rings where it's like every minute is meaningful and
Right.
great and wonderful and beautiful.
Yeah.
But
you look
I say all
tired
that-
talking about it.
No, I say all that. I was disappointed, but I agree it was fine.
Yeah, it
Like
was fun.
it just you have to not want a good story. Like you have to just want like fun but even then it's not that fun until like the third act.
Again, split it up over 2 nights and go into it with fairly low expectations like I did. You won't have a bad time.
Yeah.
I didn't
have a bad time. I just walked away like, man, that wasn't great. It wasn't great at all.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think we're on the same page, and if you would have split it up,
I think I agree. I think I do agree with you, and like I said, I think that's kind of like a little bit of snake oil for it. Is like if you can just stop watching it at an hour and a half, and then just pick up later. That way, you kind of have like a little bit of like I wonder what's going to happen next kind of thing. That might kind of alleviate some of the disappointment of, man, I spent a lot of time watching this movie, and it didn't.
Yeah, you're probably right.
And I don't hate the movie. I can't stress that enough. I don't want us to walk away from this episode with people thinking we're super pessimistic about both of these movies. Because I'm not. I don't hate either of these movies at all. I think they're both fine.
I do too.
I think they're both perfectly fine movies. The reason I have such a hard time with Wonder Woman is because I want so badly for a really, really good Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing when it's like, oh, another like swing and a miss. Like it was good and then it wasn't. Like it's just like I was just disappointed. I just want I want really good DC universe movies, and the fact that we're not getting them, it's just hard to live with. I think that at the end of the day is why I'm so disappointed, because I wanted it to be a good time, and parts of it were, and then parts of it just didn't make sense and were confusing and just didn't pay off. I don't know, but I don't hate either of them.
Yeah. There's always next year.
There's always next year. Everyone in the room, if everyone in the room would bow their heads and close their eyes, we're going to say a prayer for Patty Jenkins.
There's always next year. Like, I remember when we did the Open Letter to 2020 episode and we went through all the releases that were supposed to come out this year. Mm-hmm. I wasn't feeling too stoked on the box office anyways.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to get caught up and there's no movies and everything sucks and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I wasn't too excited to begin with. I was excited for
Tenet. I think we were excited for that.
I don't even think I was that excited for Dune yet because there was no trailer. I hadn't read the book. I hadn't seen the original movie. Mm-hmm. Like, I wasn't too stoked. I wanted to see Tenet and A Quiet Place too.
Yeah.
And probably James Bond and Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
That was about it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we haven't seen any of those movies except for Tenet. Mm-hmm. But I was already preparing myself to burn this year and just get excited for the next year. Mm-hmm. Some years are like that.
Yeah.
So here's to 2021.
Yeah. Can't get any worse.
Well, you're watching this episode in 2021, so you let us know how it's going.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Podzilla. If you would like to send us something to talk about on the show, or just let us know what you enjoyed about the episode, or how we can do better, how we can better serve you, you can comment down below, like this video, please. That really does help with the algorithm. And also, email us if you have anything that you want to say.
Yeah.
We love hearing from everyone. So email us at thepodzillashow@gmail.com. You can also follow us at The Podzilla Show on Instagram, and keep up with us there.
I think that's about it.
I do too.
Yeah.
Until next time, watch one of the movies.
Watch one of the movies.
Any of the movies. Until next time, watch a movie.